What's up, everybody out there on Twitter, all my followers? I hope you watch this. If you don't, that's okay. I don't care. And whoever sees this on YouTube, all wrestling fans that see this, I hope you enjoy. This is part 3, my wrestling DVD collection that I'm going to show you now. I have a lot of different DVDs. WWE, ECW, ROH, Indies, Shimmer, all-female, women's wrestling company, shoot interviews. I got a lot. Too many. I'm insane. I collect a lot of wrestling crap. But I love wrestling. Everybody should know that follows me at TNA WWE guy. So, excuse me, in this list, maybe you'll recognize some that you have. Maybe you'll see some that you don't have. Enjoy. First one, Raw 10th Anniversary Special DVD. It's a 2-hour DVD. It's like a Raw's Greatest Moments awards that they gave out for the Raw 10th Anniversary. It's a good DVD. It's not great. I enjoyed it, but it's not a 15th Anniversary Raw. Show was way better. Raw 1000 was way better. But it's a nice DVD. And they give out awards. It's okay. There's my cat in the background. That's Midget. Her name's Midget. Anyways, next one. TNA. First TNA DVD. Phenomenal, the best of AJ Styles DVD, 2 discs set. One of the discs is out. 2 disc set, best of AJ Styles Volume 1. They actually released Volume 2. TNA did. I actually saw it online, but I never owned it. Next TNA DVD, History of TNA, Year 1 DVD. It's a documentary about first 2 or 3, maybe I think first 2 or 3 years of TNA. When they first started, June 2002. It's a nice documentary. I enjoyed it. Another TNA, Best of Raven, 2 discs, released in 2005, I believe. When I got it, I don't remember the year. A lot of good matches on here. Raven versus the Sandman, House of Fun, Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. Kevin Sullivan was the guest referee. Raven versus Jeff Jarrett in April 2003. They had a big feud, 2 months in a row. For the same month in April, they headlined the 2-hour Wednesday NWA TNA pay-per-views back in April 03. They were good matches. Also, first ever Raven versus Sabu match is on here. Raven versus Sabu. When they were in ECW, I never ever remember a Raven versus Sabu match 1-on-1. But in 2004, I believe, 2004, late summer, Sabu and Raven went 1-on-1 on a Wednesday night pay-per-view that TNA held. Also, it's the Shave Your Hair versus Hair match is on here with Shane Douglas versus Raven. That was a good match. And Vampiro versus Raven, I believe, is on here. It's not written down, but I'm pretty sure it's on here. And Raven's War with Jim Mitchell's New Church is on here. It's a good DVD. TNA Turning Point 2004. The only TNA pay-per-view. Randy Macho Man Savage right there. Right there. It's Macho Man. A black hat, black jacket, leather jacket, black leather pants, and black leather shirt. Macho Man's only TNA appearance. Turning Point 2004 TNA pay-per-view. Main event was Kings of Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall versus Randy Savage, Phenomenal AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy. I don't even remember the match, if it was good, if it was entertaining. I'm sure it wasn't boring, but I don't remember anything special about it. I just remember that it was okay, an okay pay-per-view. Out of a 10 rating, I'd say it was, I don't know, 6 or 5. 2 discs set. Best of America's Most Wanted, Cowboy James Storm, Wildcat Chris Harris, AMW. Hell of a DVD. Their feud with New Church is in here. Very wild, brawling matches, a lot of blood in them. First ever TNA Steel Cage match. America's Most Wanted went up against Triple X, Elix Skipper, and Chris Daniels. That was a good match. AMW versus Kid Cash and Dallas is in here. Versus Rock and Roll Express is in here. All these matches are from TNA's Wednesday night 2-hour pay-per-view days. From 2002 of June to their last Wednesday night pay-per-view was in September 2004. And out of those 2 years they ran Wednesday night pay-per-views, I ordered probably 30 or whatever, under 25 Wednesday night pay-per-views I ordered. I can't remember, but I ordered a lot. Because ECW and WCW went out of business in June 2002, I was a fan. I wanted more than just WWE. So TNA was an alternative. And they were on pay-per-view. They didn't have a TV deal. They were on pay-per-view. And I was a huge wrestling fan back then. Still am today. So that's a good DVD. 2 discs. Another 2-disc TNA DVD. Best of Jeff Hardy. First ever TNA Jeff Hardy DVD release from 2005. Came out, I believe. The year is 2005. Came out. It's a good DVD. Jeff Hardy battles Jeff Jarrett for the TNA World Title. TNA's first 3-hour Sunday night pay-per-view. in a ladder match. It was okay. Jeff Hardy's first TNA match against AJ Styles at the 2-year anniversary show in June 2004. Jeff Hardy came out, faced AJ Styles, and it was shocking. And Jeff Hardy's feud in 2005 against Abyss is on here. He gets Black Hole slammed on thumbtacks. I believe is March 2005 pay-per-view. And Jeff Hardy versus Raven is in here from Lockdown 2005. It's a tables match inside the 6 sides of steel. That's okay match. Jeff Hardy versus Scott Hall is on here from January 2005 or February 2005, I don't remember. That match is okay. Scott Hall was in no condition in 2005 to even be working a pay-per-view match on a live pay-per-view, but TNA hired him because they wanted a big name, in my opinion. It's a good DVD. I'm a big Jeff Hardy fan. Not a huge fan, but I respect the hell out of him. He's insane. Next DVD. Big fan of the Knockouts. TNA Knocked Out. Pay-per-view DVD. Came out in 2008. It's a great DVD. It's like 2 discs. Set. 2 discs. They go through each knockout. Tells their own story, how they got into business. Angelina Love's in here. Awesome Kong. Christy Hemme, Gail Kim, Jacqueline, Karen Angle, ODB, Rashid Sarad, whatever her name is. Rashid Sarad. Raka Khan. Glad she's out of the business. She was awful. Roxy, Salinas, Charmel, Soul, Cal Val, and Tracy Brooks and Velvet Sky all tell their own stories on this DVD. And I believe it has, the second disc has maybe 2 or 3 matches. It's a good DVD. TNA Turning Point pay-per-view December 2007 when Scott Hall no-showed. 6-man tag main event. Supposed to be Samoa Joe, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall versus Samoa Joe, Kevin Nash. Scott Hall did not show up. Replacing him was Eric Young versus the Angle Alliance. Tyson Tomko, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle. And Joe, before the match, did a promo. Looked at Dixie sitting in the crowd. Dixie Carter looked at her, said, "Oh, are you mad? Are you mad? I'm cutting a promo on Scott Hall. Are you gonna fire me? Go ahead, fire me." I thought it was great. Samoa Joe shooted and shot off at Scott Hall no showing the pay-per-view. He went off and it was great. It's an entertaining show, entertaining pay-per-view. Turning Point 2007. Good show. TNA Lockdown 2008. Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe inside a cage in the Lockdown 6 sides of steel cage. Samoa Joe won the TNA World title for the first time. That was great. I loved that. X Division Escape match is on here for the X Division Championship. Lethal Lockdown is on here. Team Christian Cage versus Team Tomko. Cost in a Cage LAX versus whatever. There's like 8 guys in this. It's a good DVD. WWE Divas Do New York DVD on the Divas. I believe it's from 2006. Candice Michelle in here. It's my girl from Milwaukee, my hometown. Tori Wilson, Maria, Trish, Lita. Tori's in here. Melina, Ashley, Victoria, Stacy Keibler, Mickie James, Sharmell, and Crystal. All these divas on this DVD. Not one of them works for WWE anymore. Not one of them is a diva anymore. But this DVD is 9 years old. So no shocker that they don't work for WWE anymore. But I'm a fan of Maria. She does great work in ROH. I'm a big fan of Maria. I was a fan of Candice Michelle. Late 2006. In the middle of 2006, she got better in the ring. She worked her ass off, and I thought she was okay. She was good. She was a good wrestler. She improved a lot. Beth Phoenix came in the company in WWE in 2006. I know she's or maybe 2007. She came in the company, or late 2006. Anyways, Beth Phoenix is not on this DVD. Divas Do New York. They're all smoking hot. A lot of them. ROH DVD, the 100th show from Ring of Honor. Bryan Danielson, Bryan Danielson. It's the same guy. Bryan Danielson was the ROH World Champion, defended his title against Colt Cabana and Delirious. So he had 2 title defenses on this show. Briscoe Brothers on here against Matt Sydal and AJ Styles. We got 4 corner survival match on here. Jimmy Jacobs versus Jimmy Rave versus Delirious versus Jimmy Yang. And then you had Christopher Daniels versus Claudio Castanel, whatever his last name. Can't pronounce it very good. Claudio, everybody knows Claudio is Cesaro now. Current WWE Tag Team Champion with Tyson Kidd. Big fan of Cesaro. He's great. Big fan of Daniel Bryan. He's great. Christopher Daniels still is great. All 3 of them are great. In 2015, they're all still great. Briscoe Brothers, they're still an awesome team. Jay Briscoe is the ROH World Champion. And AJ Styles is the IWGP Champion right now. All those talents are very, very good. DVD from XPW called Exit Sandman, Enter Shark Boy. XPW was a promotion that started in Los Angeles, in California, in October 1999, I believe. And I'm pretty sure they went out of business. They were out of business at the end of 2002. They're not. If they are still in business, I don't know where they're running. If they're still in Los Angeles or California area, I haven't heard anything about them. It's a decent show. It's from the ECW Arena. It's from November 2002. Shane Douglas was world champion. Defended his title against Vic Grimes. I don't know why on earth Vic Grimes was in a main event, but he was. He's not a main event guy, never was. In the XPW, they were decent. They did a lot of extreme, bloody, barbed wire, light tubes fluorescent light bulbs in their matches, breaking them over each other's heads like idiots. That's not wrestling. That's extreme garbage. And in my opinion, XPW ripped off and is a ECW rip off. I love ECW. Huge ECW fan. Still watch all the old television and pay-per-views on the WWE network. ECW's awesome. And XPW, in my opinion, is trying way too hard to be ECW. And ECW's out of business in November 2002, and they were trying to capitalize on ECW's name and draw. Next DVD, Wrestling's Future Stars. Batista's in here. John Cena right there. Young John Cena is a prototype. Randy Orton's in here. Rico's in here. Who else? Chris Masters. Rob Conway. And all these matches are from OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling. I believe the years 2002 or 2001, all these matches were taped in 2002 or 2001. Shelton Benjamin is on here. Brock Lesnar, very young Brock Lesnar's on here, and he's a beast. He's green, really green, super young. He was a beast before he debuted. He was a beast in OVW. Super strong. He was a beast in 2001, in 2002, and he's still a beast in 2015. I love Brock Lesnar. Next DVD, Night of the Legends. This is from Jim Cornette. There's Jim Cornette. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. This was a big show from 1994. Jim Ross was doing play-by-play on it. Jericho, Lance Stormer in it. The Thrill Seekers have a match, and Jericho bleeds like a pig. He gets busted open and he bleeds really bad. He bladed too deep because blood is squirting out of his head. His entire face and chest are covered in blood. Jericho bled really bad. That's what I remember about this show. It's a feud. Bullet Bob Armstrong and Jim Cornette were in a major feud. I believe Bullet Bob Armstrong was a commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling in 93 and 94. In the main event, let me see here. Main event was Road Warrior Hawk, Bullet Bob Armstrong, and Tracy Smothers versus Terry Funk, Dory Funk Jr., and Bruiser Bedlam with Jim Cornette. 6-man main event. The very young New Jack and the Gangsters are on this show. New Jack cuts a promo in the ring, and it was very insane. Cuts like a racist promo, and they were in the South, and New Jack starts ripping the crowd, talking about police brutality against African Americans, and it was great. New Jack, a great promo guy, loved his promos. He really took it to the edge. His promo took it to the edge on this show. very young gangsters in Smoky Mountain Wrestling before they went to ECW a year later. Next DVDs, old school, very old wrestling gold matches. We got 5 DVDs here. 5 DVDs, matches from the late 70s. There's a wrestling bear is in here. A real bear in the ring wrestling another man. I believe that match is from the late 50s, maybe early 1960s. A lot of Memphis wrestlings on these DVDs. A young King Kong Bundy from Memphis is on here. Very young Andre the Giant versus the Sheik. Macho Man Randy Savage from Memphis, early 80s or mid 80s versus Rick Rude. Jerry Lawler versus Randy Savage is on here. Cage match, Jerry Lawler and Macho Man. Rick Rude versus Jerry Lawler, Memphis Wrestling. Bobby Heenan and the Blackjacks are on here versus the Crusher and Dick the Bruiser and Little Bruiser in a 6-man. Bruno Sammartino and Dick the Bruiser on here versus Ernie Ladd and Baron Von Raschke from AWA fame. Terry Funk versus Harley Race. A lot of old school matches. 5 DVDs. A ton of old school matches from the late 70s and early 70s, late 70s. A lot of early 80s from regional promotions and from Memphis Wrestling. Those are all the matches on here. Next one, Divas Undressed. Good DVD. Dawn Marie's in here. Ivory, Trish. They do a lingerie fashion show from WWF New York. That's hot. Oh my God. Shaniqua's in here. She's nothing to look at. She was awful in the ring and as a manager. I don't know why on earth she'd be in a lingerie fashion show. Rico appeared in the fashion show. I believe he's wearing a thong. I didn't think it was funny at the time at all. I was 18 years old and I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was gross. I don't want to see a man in a thong on a wrestling show. Dawn Marie, Stacy Keibler, Terry's in here. Dawn Marie, Tori Wilson's in here. She's on the cover. Dawn Marie I thought was smoking hot. 2001, 2002, 99, and 2000 in ECW. Dawn Marie was smoking hot. When she came to WWE, 2002, I was always a Dawn Marie fan. She was awesome. Next one, ECW, WrestlePalooza, 1997, DVD. ECW released this in 2001, I believe. It's released through Pioneer Entertainment. It's a great show. Taz versus Sabu, match number 2 is on here. Their first match was from Barely Legal in April 97. This show was from July 97. So Sabu versus Taz, match 2's on here. Great hardcore match. Great brawl. Tables are involved. Terry Funk as ECW World Champion defends against Chris Candido. Good match. Love Terry Funk. Respect the hell out of him. Stuff he did. He was like 54 years old in 97. stuff he did in ECW was great. In 95, 96, not 96, 95, 97, Terry Funk was awesome in ECW. Tommy Dreamer and Raven, their last match ever in ECW one-on-one. 2 years, Tommy couldn't beat Raven in a match. For 2 years, he couldn't beat him. 1995 to 1997, Tommy Dreamer did not beat Raven once. They had at least 200 matches around the United States. On this show, WrestlePalooza 97, Tommy Dreamer finally beats Raven in a match. And then Raven went to WCW the next month. And he showed up at Bash at the Beach 97 in the crowd. Mean Gene tried to interview him. He didn't want to talk. And Stevie Richards went with him. And Raven in WCW was awful. They did nothing with Raven. He's a great, great character. Great, great Raven. Played that part so well. He's super smart. Could have got himself over. He could have been in the main event of WCW pay-per-views. But WCW and Eric Bischoff never wanted to push Raven, and they had nothing for him. I don't even know why they signed him in 97. In my opinion, they just signed him to steal him, to take him from Paul Heyman and ECW. They just wanted to hurt ECW. And I don't believe Bischoff. He said recently he didn't sign ECW talents to hurt ECW. Well, I disagree. Bischoff took Raven. He took the Public Enemy. Took Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit. He signed them all. He signed Mikey Whipwreck. And they used Mikey Whipwreck on 2 WCW pay-per-views in 99. It's totally pointless to sign Mikey Whipwreck. I understand why Mikey went. I'm sure he went for the money. And they signed the Sandman also. Sandman in WCW did not work. It did not fit. It was stupid. And I'm glad he returned to ECW in November 99. Next DVD, MLW Genesis from June 2002. There's a tournament held to crown the first ever MLW champion. Shane Douglas won it. He beat Steve Corino that night. He beat Vampiro. And he beat a lot of people. He beat 3 guys one night. Shane Douglas became the MLW's first ever heavyweight champion. MLW is around late 2002 they showed up. I became aware of them from Fox Sports Net from Florida. MLW's on the Sunshine Network from Florida, and I actually became aware of them in 2003 when their shows started airing on Fox Sports Net here in Milwaukee. It's a good, entertaining DVD. Joey Styles does the commentary on this show. Feels like an ECW show to me. That's why I bought it. It's from the ECW arena. Hardcore great fans were there that showed up. And I miss ECW in 2002. Like I said earlier, TNA was an alternative for me in 2002, and MLW was also an alternative, and XPW was an alternative for me. Up next, XPW, the complete first season of their TV, XPW TV. I believe there's 4 discs on this set. I haven't watched it since I bought it like 5-6 years ago. All these guys, every name I see that was involved in XPW is from the old ECW. Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, Tammy Sitch, Big Dick Dudley, Sabu, Axelani, Public Enemy, Cronus, Tracy Smothers, and then Pogo the Clown was a hack. He couldn't wrestle, he sucked. White Trash Johnny Webb sucked. The Messiah sucked. Homeless Jimmy sucked. Supreme, fat guy, looked like Bam Bam Bigelow on crack cocaine. Supreme was a garbage wrestler. All he was good for is breaking a light bulb over his head. That's all he's good for. The only thing I like about this DVD is the opening music to the TV show of XPW. That's the best part of it. Up next, ROH, Best of AJ Styles. The first year ROH was in business, AJ Styles. All these matches are from his first and second year ROH is in business. AJ versus Low Ki from April 2002 is on here, great match. AJ versus Chris Daniels from June 2002, good match. AJ versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson from November 2002. Number 1 Contenders Gauntlet Finals match. Haven't watched that match in years. I think I'm gonna. AJ and Amazing Red versus the Briscoe Brothers is on here. AJ versus Chris Sabin is on here. It's a great DVD from ROH. About 12 years ago. 13 maybe. That DVD was put out. ROH Secrets of the Ring with Dusty Rhodes. This whole DVD is about 1987, him booking the NWA. In 1987 he booked the entire year for the NWA. In 1987, I love stuff like this because I'm an old school fan. A lot of great stories are in here about the NWA. ROH, Best of Paul London from the first and second year again of ROH. Paul London was a hell of a talent. Young guy back then. Had a lot of good matches. There's a great match with Samoa Joe on here for the ROH World Title. Paul London versus AJ Styles versus Low Ki at the 1 year anniversary shows on here. A lot of great matches. It's a great DVD. Another MLW Major League Wrestling DVD. Reload Tour, day number 1 from January 2004. You had Tyson Kidd and British Bulldog son Harry Smith as the Stampede Bulldogs on this show versus Havana Pit Bulls. You had Jerry Lynn on this show versus Teddy Hart. Low Ki versus Chad Cowler. I don't remember him. Steve Corino versus Terry Funk for the MLW World Title in a barbed wire match. That was great. It was bloody. What else? Raven versus Vampiros on here in a Screwface match. What the hell is a Screwface match? I have no clue. It was a stupid idea, I'm sure. Trust me. It was stupid, I'm sure. Before they were stars. All these guys, Al Snow, Lance Storm, Jericho, Mick Foley. All these matches on this DVD before they were stars are from Smoky Mountain Wrestling. that was in existence from 93 to 95, I believe. I could be wrong on the years they were in business. But Jim Cornette ran Smoky Mountain, and it was entertaining. It had some good, decent wrestling. A lot of stars on this DVD that became big stars. 5 and 10 years later, they were huge stars. Mick Foley's on here versus Chris Candido. Kane, a very young Kane, is on here. He's called the Unborn, Unbomb, whatever his name was. Young Kane and Eddie Gilbert, the great Eddie Gilbert, rest his soul, versus the Rock and Roll Express is on here. Very young Taz from 93, before using ECW, is on here. Versus Robert Gibson. Good.
I want to go to the bathroom before. You doing it?